Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS. Fans, brews, and Broncos news.
Hello again, Broncos Country. And I tell you right now, I'm so happy to be able to say that on the 20th of January, because that means the Broncos are still alive and in a great fashion on Saturday afternoon. A couple of these guys went there, and then we got David and myself who got to watch on the screen and got to listen to Tony Romo just talk. But yeah, you know what? Hey, look, we're there. We get to the AFC Championship time for the first time in 10 years. Man, it feels good. How are you guys doing, Kev? Kev, let's start with you. How you doing, man?
Well, welcome everyone to Bourbon Broncos No BS. You can call it Bourbon Broncos No BS. Just like Drake Maye, it's really stupid and lame, and I just want to prove that point. Look, guys, it is absolutely ridiculous that we got here in the most amazing way possible. I mean that. Like, look at all the things that this team has been through, and I won't lie. Look, we'll talk about the Bills game itself, but when I saw that news drop about Bo Nix, my heart dropped straight through the floor. And it took all of Sunday to kind of really bounce back, to really think about this team. We've talked about it how many times. This team is built for big moments. This team has faced so much adversity throughout the entire season, and they haven't backed down from any bad situation they found themselves in. I don't think this is any different. I think this is just another speed bump. And like somebody was talking about, not only was Jarrett Stidham, I think, Sean Payton's first free agent pick, but then he re-signed Jarrett Stidham as well. So he fully believes in this guy, and we're going to see it this next Sunday because the Broncos are one freaking win away from Super Bowl 60, guys. Let's get at it. David.
It's just sad that the NFL honors have to take place before the Super Bowl and they don't really take into account what happens in the playoffs, right? Because, man, if Sean Payton takes the Denver Broncos to the Super Bowl, he's the coach of the year. And I think that I know. Put your waiver hand down, Spotty. Get that out of here. If Sean Payton takes the Broncos to the Super Bowl this year, I think he's the coach of the year. You look at what he did to secure the number 1 seed, and I think that we're going to get into it, guys, but I think there's a really good chance that he goes out there and beats the New England Patriots. He coached his ass off against Buffalo. He was as important a factor in us winning that game as anybody. And it is, we'll get into the Bo Nix stuff. I want to talk about it early so we can kind of talk about it and move past it to good things again. But he is why I am not at all despondent, even though that was my initial reaction to the Bo Nix news, Spotty.
How I'm feeling. My voice hasn't fully recovered yet from Saturday. Nope. Like it's still it's not that flavorful dark chocolate voice that I've had for so long. So still got some healing up. And you know what? It's worth it. It is absolutely worth it. I already was talking to you guys, and anybody who knows me, I paid an exorbitant amount to go to the game on Saturday, and I would pay that every dollar, every cent to do it all again. I am hands down one of the best games I've ever been to in my whole entire life. The plus is that the Denver Broncos pulled out the win, right? And the plus about it is they did it in a fashion that not a single one, not one person had any idea that's how they were going to do it. If you listen to the pregame, we're like, you know what? Do this and do that. Hold Josh under this. Keep James Cook under that. If they go above that, the Broncos probably lose. And you know what? All that shit happened, and we still won the game. So,
playoffs, baby.
We could rewatch all that, and the most crushing feeling is to be on the highest of highs and immediately have the impact of losing Bo for the season. And we'll talk about it, but I was sitting there over at the little machine across the street from the stadium, and I've never seen such enjoyment just fall through. Everybody was just like, come on, man, this news can't be real. Like, everyone will now remember the moment where they will remember where they were at when they found out the Bo Nix news. So that's definitely going to be etched in our brains, and we'll talk about it more. But hey, Bo, you played a hell of a game.
So we just went through, and I say we because I feel like we all did over the last 4 days, just the most ridiculous roller coaster of emotions. I'm also going to pull a little Adam Schefter here, if you haven't seen. It looks like the Chargers are hiring Mike McDaniel as the offensive coordinator. So that's another emotional news for us to bring. Yeah, just bring down that. But we can focus on this season right now, and that's what we're here for this show. So let's focus on, normally like we do it. Let's talk about that game. Let's talk about just how fantastic spot you talked about it. One of the best games to go to, an overtime game. Just an absolutely fantastic game to go to. It was just, I don't know, man. Like, you're watching it on the screen, and we had so many opportunities to kind of put the nail in the coffin, and we couldn't. And then Josh Allen had a couple of opportunities to put the nail in the coffin. And then you have a guy like McMillan, who's back there basically wrestled for the ball midair as the ball was coming down in both of their hands. Like, just an absolutely fantastic interception. And that's the talent at that level is like, crazy against the receiver too. That one of the most prolific receivers in the game right now. I thought that it was an absolutely fantastic interception, and that's obviously what got the momentum back in the stadium to go down and drive that ball down. And man, just what an absolute fantastic game. Let's talk about the highs. Bo Nix played well. Running the game wasn't so good, but Bo Nix played well. And we ended up throwing a lot. We ended up throwing a lot more than I thought we were going to.
But I think what you saw here was, we've seen Bo Nix really step up in the moment during the regular season. And I said it last night, I'll say it again. Josh Allen is a regular season Superman and a postseason super dud. But we saw Bo Nix be able to keep the same poise and deliver this, execution that we saw in the regular season in the playoffs, especially when they abandoned the run game and put the game on his shoulders. He made it happen. Some of those balls he was throwing down, they were absolute dimes. So, we saw what Bo Nix is capable of doing in the playoffs, in the biggest game of his life. There's nothing that guy is shy of, and that's where I'm looking like, you know what? I'm glad we got Bo Nix over Josh Allen. What has Josh Allen done in the postseason? But here we go. We're seeing. Well, think about it. First off, Josh Allen in Denver, we would have ruined his career. Okay, with everything going on.
That's not what we're arguing.
I'm with you there.
It all worked out in the long run, is what I'm saying, to where we ended up with Bo Nix. And I'm happier here we are now because we got a really bright future ahead of us with Bo Nix. His ceiling, I still don't think he's hit his ceiling. And the future we have with him running the show, he's clinched himself as the face of the franchise. Period. Out the end.
Yeah. You know what's funny, and I'll just, before I kick it over to you, David, I was watching, I don't know if it was a post-game conference, or they were talking all over Spotty. I don't know if it was the post-game conference or if it was Sean Payton was talking about the touchdown to Marvin Mims. I don't know if you saw this. And he was talking about how that play they had practiced in practice, and Marvin Mims was beating PS2. And he was like, okay, if you can beat PS2, you're going to beat anybody, which means there's as simple as just a fade route as it, well, I guess it was a stop and go, a little bit of a stop and go. As simple of a route as it was, to be able to practice and bring those things out in the game time was absolutely fantastic, and just a great play to call at the time, and a great catch and throw by Bo Nix and catch by Marvin Mims.
I need to throw it over to Spotty, but I do want to say really quick, just on that too, elite coaching moment from Sean Payton in the game flow situation, because that was the play immediately after their starting corner on that side went out. And Marvin Mims was matched up against the backup, and Payton said, I'm going to dial up that play that we saw in practice from Marvin Mims all week on PS2. We saw them hit that. We're going to hit it again right now. And we got a crucial touchdown out of it. Spotty, I want to get your thoughts back on that run game, because I know you had something to say.
Well, I had beef with Jarrett saying that the run game wasn't successful, because you don't know if the run game was successful if you ran the ball 10 times between your running backs. As a matter of fact, there were more called runs for Bo than there were for both RJ Harvey and Jaleel McLaughlin. So you can't say that the run game was unsuccessful. Even teams that run the ball well will know you're going to get stopped a couple times. You still have to run the ball. So why do I got my notes over here? It says Jaleel 4 carries, 21 yards, RJ 6 carries, 20 yards. Both of them had a long of 13 and 12 yards. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I get that's if you have a longer than 10 yards, they weren't negative. If you have a longer than 10-yard run, then you got to do some more about it. I just have issue with the fact that our coach is going to call runs that were least successful that went to Bo. He had 12 carries for 29 yards. Okay. And that's I'll say maybe 6 or 7 of those were called runs. The rest of those kind of were scrambles, which kind of affect the total there. But to be successful in this next game, that cannot happen, right? Am I crazy to think that like we just 46 throws is just how we're going to go for games now?
No.
I don't think it's going to be that way, but it's going to be, I think, because the style of quarterback that Jarrett Stidham is right now is just completely different than Bo Nix, right? I think you're going to see Jarrett Stidham play within the Sean Payton system a little bit more than Bo Nix does, try to get out of the pocket less, and I think he's going to hang in there and try to make more plays down the field a little bit longer. I think that will probably mean he takes more sacks. I don't think he's going to have that same kind of pocket escapability that Bo does, but I think we're going to see a little bit of a different style of quarterback play there. And so I don't think you're going to see 45 throws, but I think you're going to see more efficient throws when you get them.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that in the second half of the show. But I think that's a really good point in that aspect, and I think we'll go real deep. I want to backpedal a little bit, Spotty. I didn't mean the run game was. And if that's what I said, I'm sorry. Words matter. I didn't mean the run game was successful. I mean I was expecting to see more run game in that game than what we saw. And you're right. And it was in the first half. You saw, and I was worried too. It's funny because like I didn't think about it at the end of the game, when he had the press conference and everything, we ended up throwing 45 times. But in the first quarter, I was like, stop running called plays to Bo. He's going to get hurt. Like, stop it. And then the play he gets hurt on, it's just like the most ridiculous play. But like, I'm like, stop doing this. Stop calling run plays. They know Bo can run. Just like Josh Allen, they know Bo can run. They're going to keep an eye on him regardless of where he's at. You don't need to do these like, oh, it's not Peyton Manning. No one's spying Peyton Manning. They're going to spy Bo. Like, you don't need to develop this extra crazy stuff. Give the ball to the running backs up the middle and let them take off for 13, 12 yards. Every once in a while to 1 or 2, and then you switch it around. But we also got ourselves into a position in the second half where it was close. And it seemed like in the moment of every drive, it was a must-needed drive. And it felt like that all the way through the game. Every time, like, we got the ball, it was like, oh, this is it. We have to go down and score. We have to go down and score. And that's where we got into that position of like, we have to throw. And that's why we throw 45 times. Unfortunately, like that wasn't the case. We didn't need to.
Well, and that's where I think, because honestly, I don't care. Like, I get where you guys are coming from. I really do. And in like a regular season game situation where you're trying to establish good habits, like especially if we were having this conversation about the Broncos in September or October, I would be on board with you guys 100%. I don't care right now. You're on a 1 week to 1 week basis. You are here to win today's game. You're not here to show that you have great habits that are going to translate game plan to game plan, week to week. You're here to win a game plan specific game this week. You're here to do what you got to do in a game flow situation. And to me, like situationally, when I go back and think about it, yeah, there's a couple of drives, especially in the third quarter, where you probably could have said, hey, you should really try running the ball here. Especially because they did go 3 and out really quickly. And the way the defense was kind of just getting gashed by Buffalo on drives where they didn't get turnovers, that was concerning. But I also can see the Sean Payton's going to throw the football. That's what he wants to do. That's what he's done his entire tenure in the NFL. And when you're in a playoff situation, you want to go. And I completely understand why Sean Payton wanted to keep going. And every opportunity they got, they were trying to score. And like you said, Jared, that meant let's throw the football. Let's try and get a little bit more of a big play going. And, we can talk about it now, but the reason we get to talk about it now is because they won the game. Right. So that's where I stand with it.
Yeah, I just think against the worst run defense in the league, you'd have a little bit more runs. That's kind of what I was going for. Like, you'd think you'd just give the ball to the running back against the worst run defense. Again, we won, so we'll be happy about that.
I think it's
go ahead, Kev.
No, just really quickly, I think it's a fair point. If you had shown me the stat sheet and then asked me to guess who won the game, I would have said, the Bills won. Easily. There's no way. Time of possession was way skewed to the Bills. Outside of the turnovers, everything else was basically all Bills all day in terms of the stat sheet. I've been like, there's no way the Broncos ended up winning this game. But once again, this team finds ways to win. And that's another thing that gives me hope as we get closer talking to next week's game here in the second half of the show.
Yeah, I want to bring up this comment because Gary Lee. Yeah, so you're right here. So it's funny. I'm watching this. Do you guys remember when they announced who's going to be the refs for this game? And everyone was like, they throw so many penalties. And they threw very little throughout the whole game until the last drive. So on that point, I want to bring up the crying Bills fans because I just love other teams crying fans.
It's conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy. And
the Broncos to win.
Yeah, because that's a better storyline than Josh Allen getting his first.
The Broncos and Jarrett Stidham are going to get better ratings than Josh Allen would in the AFC Championship. That's what the NFL saw.
Yeah. So okay. I love this. I love this back and forth. And the first pass interference was it a weird call? Yeah, it didn't matter because there was also a roughing the passer, so it wouldn't have mattered.
And it was literally 2 yards difference too. Yeah, it was 17.
Second pass interference. Absolutely a pass interference. The dude tackled him before the ball even got there. And the interception, which I still love, people are done hearing my voice because I'm talking about this, but Spotty, give them the breakdown of why that was an interception and why the casual NFL fan needs to understand the rule book and why the catch, it was an interception for McMillan, but a catch in the New England game or in the Rams game.
So the first thing I want to say about it is blame the NFL. So if you're a student of the game and you pay attention to the NFL whatsoever, you do not realize how complicated the catch rule is. There are 3 parts to the catch rule. What everybody's very aware of is you have to catch the ball, you have to have possession, and then you're thinking down by contact, right? But the third part is if A and B are right, the C is you have to survive the ground. And I think what really affects this particular play is actually the stills, the slow motion, because the slow motion is what you're like, look at, I found this picture. I can see the ball touching the ground. But you're not seeing the fact that the ball is moving at the exact same time. So let's take McMillan out of the picture. Let's even remove him away. That ball hits the ground and is an incomplete pass. But instead of it being an incomplete pass, McMillan was there. Now, the difference between that and Devontae Adams' catch was he secured the ball before he went to the ground and they stripped him. That is absolutely different. There's no jostling. There's no moving. The defender just straight in, went in there and tried to pull it out of him after he was down by contact. That is letter of the law. But you cannot take these 2 plays and say, same thing. No, they are not the same thing. The things that had to happen in the Adams catch versus that did not happen in the McMillan interception, okay, that's a big difference. It is a big difference.
And again, shout out to McMillan for the ability to catch up to that ball, get his hands in between without looking, get his hand in between there, which is what really made the interception. Because his hand was there, nobody really had the possession. So by the time he rolled over, it's just kind of like he I'm telling you, he just took that and he was like, I'm stronger than you. Give me that thing.
Yeah.
And
the biggest tell was the fact that Cook stayed on the ground disappointed because he knew what it just, there was no popping up to go, oh no, I caught that. That was the catch. I got that. That was me. No, he freaking knew in that moment what had happened. And his body language said it 1,000%.
Later on, though, he said he caught it. I'm just saying that hindsight.
Well, and to all the analysts who are crying about the length of the review and agreeing with Sean McDermott that it's a playoff game, the fans deserve to have you take a long look at it. I'm sorry, if the refs know what the rule is and know how to interpret the rule correctly, they don't owe anybody a long review just to make everybody feel better. There's this weird undercurrent in the NFL analyst world right now of poor Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. It always happens to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And it's like, guys, the Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills and their, this is a dumb stat, but quote unquote number one pass defense just let the quarterback that you tried to spend the entire season shitting on put up 30 on them, 33 on them. And, go win a game. Josh Allen had 4 turnovers? Go win a game.
Yep.
Go win a game.
It was that one play. It was the one play that skewed the whole entire game.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it wasn't
Josh
Allen.
Has 3 turnovers.
Right. It wasn't Josh Allen on the final possession of the second half turning around and chucking the ball into the ground at nobody. It was because the refs screwed us. Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing is, and this goes back to the whole let's dispel this the NFL wanted the Broncos and they literally changed an entire overtime rule for the Buffalo Bills.
Yes. The idea that the Bills, the Bills have been given so many advantages, and we're just gonna, I'm done.
I 100% back that too, because there's so many things to it. Everybody's been complaining about the Broncos all year. Okay. They're like, the Broncos are boring to watch, yada, yada, yada. Yes. So the NFL, to make their millions of dollars off of these playoff games, yes, they absolutely want the boring Denver Broncos to survive and advance.
Yeah. I want to dispel this. For the record, am a big fan of Josh Allen. And this is why I think he's absolutely fantastic. And it's not Josh Allen was crying because he knew he let the team down. He's not the one going in front of there and saying, he's not going up in front of the camera going oh, it's the ref's fault. Oh, it's his. He got in front of the camera and said, I let the team down. I'm the reason we lost this game. When really their defense let us score 33 points. But also he went and he turned the ball over a couple times. He went up there and he said, I'm the reason we lost the game. He was crying because he knew he had personal. It's the fans. It's the fans and all the other Bills Nation or whatever they call their, WWE having ass, whatever they're the ones that are like, Josh Allen's God, it's always happening to him. He's the one that's standing in front of them. They're like, no, this is my bad, guys. I really messed this one up. So I want to give a little bit of credit to Josh Allen, and he is a great quarterback. I do think that he had a chance to put the nail in the coffin a couple times.
He was,
and for some reason,
field, and he has to turn it over 4 times. Yeah. They win that game. So if he methodically drives down the ball instead of trying to throw that to Stephon Diggs and try to get the big play, they win that game. Yep. Right? It was 3rd and 11. All he needed was 11. He went for 30.
Yeah.
So
look, one Josh Allen thing, and then I want to say something about the Broncos defense as well. Stat I heard, Josh Allen's playoff career, he's been in 7 overtimes. 6 of those situations, he's had the ball. In those 6 situations or 6 overtimes, they have scored a total of 3 points. So I get it. I love Josh Allen too. I respect him, immensely as a person and everything he does off the field and everything. But look, fact of the matter is, how many more times does he have to be in this situation before we look at it and say, are you really that amazing of a quarterback? So, look, is he going to get a Super Bowl someday? Yeah, probably. But again, this was supposed to be his year. No Mahomes, no Jackson, no Burrow, but he faced Bo, and Bo Nix outdueled this year's reigning NFL MVP. And then with the defense, We've said Jaquan McMillan's name a couple times, but outside of that interception, I don't know if you guys realize this. He only allowed one catch all game long for -4 yards and a 0.0 QBR. So you talk about a guy that's being underrated on the Broncos and not given the credit that's due. Look, a lot of things we can talk about the defense being kind of leaky at times, but McMillan showed up big time on Saturday.
Yeah, and so did PJ Locke. That interception was an absolutely fantastic jump in front of that too. Just another time of just kind of timing it and seeing where he was trying to go. And here's the thing, and we'll shift over to the next game coming up, but Josh Allen was taking risks that I don't think Drake Maye is going to take. And so I don't know if we're going to get that many deep middle out of two high safety looks that Josh Allen did. But hey, again, to PJ Locke, what a great read on that interception to be able to jump in front of that. And another, again, pivotal moment. I think Josh Allen fumbled twice, two fumbles, 2 interceptions. So,
yep.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yep.
I do also want to say, and this is going to be a James, don't hate me for saying this. I agree. I think that obviously was a clear penalty and people posting that picture. What I don't like is that picture being the defense of the interception being called. Like when people are being like, Bills fans are on social media being like, oh my gosh, this interception wasn't real. Like it should have been called down by contact, blah, 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 blah. And then Broncos fans posting that picture, like, well, the game would have ended here if they would have called this one. I don't like that because both are true, right? So like the defense of being like, oh, well, if they like, it makes it seem like it's a makeup call. And it wasn't. It was a legit call. It was a legit, right? And now because they missed the hole in the end zone doesn't mean that they went to go make it up. That was a legitimate call. Now, but you're right. Yeah, absolutely. But again, this goes back to the whole thing that I started this conversation with was the refs actually let a lot go.
Neither team got a holding call, and both teams could have had holding called on them at least once that I saw with my eyes. And
absolutely.
More than that, I'm sure, over the course of the game. That's playoff football. The refs swallow the whistles pretty often. The Courtland Sutton pass interference that had this roughing the passer call, that was the most egregious call of the entire game to me. And
it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
It wouldn't have mattered anyway. So,
hey, but before we move on, while we're giving out kudos, though, Keith brings up another good point here. We're talking about Nick Bonito. He's been quiet.
My gosh.
He's been quiet the last couple of weeks, and 2 of those fumbles are Nick Bonito. I mean, the fumble at the end, that's Nick Bonito grabbing his arm, and then the fumble to start the half after that. I get hats off to Nick Bonito, man. He had an incredible game.
Yeah, he did.
And that's another reason, Jared, I know you were talking about maybe not getting turnover opportunities with Drake Maye. Nick Bonito might be a reason we have a lot of turnover opportunities. We'll get to that in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. Let
me talk to Ken real quick here. I want to speak directly to Ken because, Ken, you and I have had our disagreements about Vance Joseph over the course of the season, and I think I'm ready to come to Jesus just a little bit here. I think, and we talked about this in the group chat, guys, and I think we all came to kind of a little bit of a consensus there with Vance Joseph. And I think Vance Joseph has built a really capable defense to beat the AFC West in 2025. And once you get to the playoffs, I think there's a little bit of a difference in what teams can game plan for and what they're going to throw at you. And it's, all I will say is that the best case scenario for the Denver Broncos, I think this offseason, is for Vance Joseph to be hired as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. The Broncos get a 3rd-round compensatory pick if that happens, and they promote Jim Leonard to DC. That's my vision. We'll see what happens.
Their offensive line was way more physical than we were.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. That's just what it is. And then when that happens, and you give even an iota of time to Josh Allen or a couple of inches for James Cook, they're going to take that. And quite honestly, they took belt to on us when it came to that run game, and we really couldn't do anything about it. But To be fair, they did that to a lot of teams. I mean, you don't get a running back go 2 years in a row with 1,700 total yards with pure luck, sheer luck. I mean, they keep at it. They feed the rock to their guys that they can run it, and they take advantage of that. And then because they have the ability to run 2 tight end sets outside of that, and they got 2 white guy A and white guy B to be at those blockers, then you get yardage with these tight ends. So I think they were kind of the perfect offense outside of the fact they didn't have wide receivers to disrupt what our defense likes to do.
Yep. And if you look at the last 3 quarterback, or at least the last 2 games we played, where it seems like there's like, oh man, our defense, what are we doing letting up? I mean, it was Herbert and then like Josh Allen. Like those are 2 quarterbacks that are actually pretty good and can pick apart a defense if you give them a little bit of time. And I think even without the little bit of time, Josh Allen was still kind of picking apart. But again, you see it come out. Yes, they scored 30, but we also got 4 turnovers. So like there's that piece to it. What was the
turnovers?
5 total.
Oh, the fumble, the running back fumble, right?
Yeah, James. Oh, what a hit by Alex.
Alex Singleton.
Oh my God.
And Hufanga. It wasn't an interception, but Hufanga finally got the turnover. Yeah, he got his hands on the ball. Finally.
He looked like
he also had a hit in that game too.
Oh,
I think it was like
a legal hit.
I'm
about as tough of a legal hit as you can have.
He got 2 really good hits. I'm surprised both times they held on to the ball. Those are hits that are going to dislodge balls in any other game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this next week.
All right, guys, it is halftime here at Bourbon Broncos and No BS, and I'm going to give you the rundown. Kevin, you going to give the rundown, or you're going to go relax for a minute? Oh, yeah, he's going to relax. Okay, so I'm going to give the rundown here and probably miss a bunch of stuff because I am the Jarrett Stidham to his 𝐁𝐫 right now. And,
I got you. You're good.
Okay. So join us here at Bourbon Broncos and No BS. We are here. Obviously, this is the Bourbon Broncos No BS show. Every Tuesday, we'll be here 7 p.m. Mountain Time. This is the flagship show. This is where we got our start. This is where we're going to get our finish. We're going to be here for you guys as long as possible. Obviously, make sure you guys are downloading the Bourbon Broncos No BS podcast on all of your podcast listening devices. David, Spotty, and I go in depth. If you want to hear in-depth conversation about matches, matchups, coaching matchups, one-on-ones, offense, defense, we will be on there. Make sure you download that and listen to that on your way to or from work at some point this week. And then on game day, 1 hour before kickoff, we will be live here on something we call the Tailgate Talk. For those of you that can't go to the actual tailgate, because again, we have a home field game. If you're not at the actual tailgate, join us here, and we'll be here having a couple drinks, talking about what to expect in this matchup against the Patriots in the AFC Championship Game. And we'll do that every week, be here right before 1 hour before kickoff. And then we are the home of the original halftime hash, where at halftime, instead of listening to Tony Romo talk your ear off about whatever the heck he's talking about, join us and we can talk Broncos football and what we saw in the first half. And then we just take your comments. It's a real quick rapid fire. We take your comments, talk to you about what we think about them, and then we go and move on to the second half of the game. And then on Mondays, Kevin and some others could do what they think is a podcast, but they go live and they talk about the easy stuff, which is what we all saw in the game already. And but no, it's a lot of fun. They have a good time there, and they get to talk about what they saw in the game. And they're live here on YouTube. Make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe, like all the buttons, YouTube, Facebook, MySpace, all those things. Make sure that you're hitting the like button and following us to get those notifications when we go live. And then, make sure you guys go to broncosandbourbon.com. If you sign up now, Jared's going to post his OnlyFans. You know what? YOLO. If you sign up now, you get free access to the tier levels on both the website and my OnlyFans. It's a lot of just like hand picks. It's weird. So you get access to the tier level when we go to the tier levels after the Super Bowl. But you got to sign up now. So make sure you sign up now. Get that free access to the tier level while you still can. Adam's doing a lot of good stuff on that website, by the way. He's posting a lot of really cool articles.
Yep. No, he knows what he's talking about and has some really good insight. So the good thing, if you sign up, you can interact with comments and everything, share your thoughts, tell Adam what you think and whatnot too. Jared, nicely done. I just do have one additional thing that we're going to start adding here. If you're your Discord user, I know I'm kind of just starting to dabble in it a little bit. There is a Broncos Country Discord that is trying to get started up and get people over there to talk, share memes, share news, share your thoughts and all that stuff. There's the link. Head on over and join the Broncos Country Discord server. Great stuff, guys. I'm ready to talk about this AFC Championship game. This is the first ever. Last week was the first ever divisional game episode of Bourbon Broncos No BS, and this is the first ever AFC Championship Game episode of Bourbon Broncos and No BS. Jared, take it away, man.
Yeah, obviously, with this game we have going in there without Bo Nix. So let's just start there. Everyone wants to talk about it. How do we feel about Jarrett Stidham playing in this game? What's it going to be the difference? David, I'm going to kick it off to you because you kind of started talking about it. I cut you off like I normally do. I've been doing it for 20 years. And so I'm going to give it back to you, talk about the difference in gameplay and what you're expecting from Stidham that we're probably not used to.
Yeah, pulling out a 20-year-old reference with MySpace, too. Anyway, Jarrett Stidham, like I said, I think Jarrett Stidham, we're going to see a little bit of a different style of quarterback play. I think we're going to see him stay with plays a little bit longer, allow them to develop naturally, try and kind of hang in the pocket. We're not going to see the kind of mobility that we get from Bo Nix. We're not going to see the kind of out-of-schedule playmaking that you get with Bo Nix. But it is, I don't necessarily think that's going to be a bad thing, because I think Sean Payton is that good of a coach. And sorry, guys, spoiler alert for the pregame podcast, but I don't care. It's our only Bourbon Broncos and No BS AFC Championship Game show in history. I'm picking the Broncos to win this game. Like, I think the way Sean Payton showed out against the Bills, I think that this challenge of going in against the Patriots with Jarrett Stidham in this spot is going to unlock a new part of Sean Payton's ego that will do this just to spite people. And I am so excited because, man, I'll tell you what, all goddamn season long, anytime I've had to listen to Patriots discourse, I cannot escape how amazing Drake Maye looks. Drake Maye. I do not care. Look, and it's just like the Josh Allen discourse we were talking about earlier. This is not against Drake Maye. Drake Maye is a good young player. He's a really good young quarterback. Right now, I would say he's the best of the 2024 draft class, just what he's shown on the field. But I do not care. I do not care about how much you guys want Drake Maye to win. I don't care about how he plays the quarterback position aesthetically the way that you like and throws the ball downfield in the way that you like and does this in the way that you like. And I don't care. He's going to fumble 3 times and the Denver Broncos are winning the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, Spotty, what do you think, man?
I like how Kevin in our group chat was talking about the head versus the heart on this. And, you know, of course, the heart is always for the Broncos. The head sometimes searches and needs the information to vote with the heart as well. So the last couple of days, I spent, a little bit of time just scouring the internet to give me anything to pep me up, to give me back that giddy up in my step, And so it started off while I was watching Tim Jenkins, shout out to him, on his breakdown of the game. And a lot of the time during his breakdown, he was talking about how some of the concepts for the Broncos they're not overly complicated. He also mentioned the fact that Sean Payton has had backup quarterbacks come in and run the exact same concepts. Jameis Winston, who I think is an above average quarterback, and then Teddy Bridgewater, who we should all know, both with 5 wins over the times being backup quarterbacks. And of course, Taysom Hill somehow has won football games as a starting quarterback in a Sean Payton offense. And he's not a tight end, if you ask me. That was encouraging. And then I was at the gym right before the show, as I'm perennially almost late because I'm at the gym before the show. Joshua Palmer was on the Rich Eisen show, and Palmer was all about it. He's like, you guys don't understand. there's not a whole lot of tape on Stiddy, but Josh McDaniels, I think someone even put in the comment, Josh McDaniels wanted Jarrett Stidham when he moved to the Raiders as a head coach, and he brought him over, and he played 2 games against the Chiefs and the 49ers. He threw for 600 something yards in those 2 games, and those are the 2 teams that ended up playing the Super Bowl that year. So that means that he's played meaningful football. He's played meaningful football against not just backups in preseason. And we remember now that he's also probably, I think, the highest paid backup. I could be, a little skewed on that, but he's got like a 15-year, $15 million contract. You don't think Sean Payton's going to bring in a guy and pay him $15 million if he doesn't have some kind of faith in him in some way. Okay. And then my last part, I know I'm going along on this, but the best part about it all is there is no tape on Jarrett Stidham. Okay. Yeah. The only people who know what he's fully capable of is inside the Broncos facility. Okay. And you can call it what you want. You can watch week 17, week 16 games where backups played against teams. There's a kid who played the Colts quarterback, Riley Leonard, played against the Texans defense, which everybody says is the number 1 defense. And he put it to him in the beginning of that game. And it didn't come out until the very end where the Texans ended up pulling it out. But that's all you really need, right? If Jarrett Stidham comes out and plays a half, that's all it takes. 1 game, even if that puts you in a Super Bowl, and then you get weeks to prepare. Jarrett Stidham comes out and he plays a half like no one's ever even seen him play a half before, and then they're playing catch up the whole second half. So you know what? I got a lot of extra faith from some outside talking heads, and I feel very comfortable in the fact that the Broncos defense paired with Sean Payton play calling can absolutely win us this game.
Yeah, I want to tackle on. Look, we would go back to the start of the season where Sean Payton said that, preseason, saying this is a team that he believes is Super Bowl capable. As we all looked at, even us were like, dude, what are you talking about, man? This is preseason. Like, you're going to have to put your money where your mouth is. And he did. And now he's talking about Stiddy is the guy that he truly believes in. And he said all along that he believes he has 2 quarterbacks and go out there and get it done. You know what? I'm apt to believe him at this point. Yeah, why should I doubt him at this point? The other thing that Sean Payton mentioned is there were a couple times this last season, it sounded like, where Sean Payton was getting pissed at Vance Joseph because of how bad Stiddy was making our own defense look during practices. And okay, again, like you're practicing against our defense. They're not a nobody defense. And if you're making them look bad, okay, like that's a good sign. And then lastly, I want to get your guys' take on this. Talking about the genius of Sean Payton and kind of making things happen. If you guys didn't see, we did sign Brandon Johnson to the practice squad, possibly looking to activate him this week. He was not really well known. He was with the Broncos for a couple years. He got several touchdowns, couple hundred yards, but the best games he had with the Broncos was when Jarrett Stidham was starting after we benched Russell Wilson. So we are short on wide receivers with Troy Franklin and PB13, definitely not playing this weekend. So maybe to bring in another weapon that Jarrett Stidham is pretty familiar with and had some success with in those couple games that he was starting for the Broncos. So lots of things going on here, but I like it.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think we designated our backup center to the practice squad as well, opening up a spot. So I wouldn't be surprised. No,
no, he's gone.
We waived him from the practice squad.
To open up the spot for him to come on the practice squad. Yeah, I mean, it just opens up an opportunity for him to come up if we need him.
Which is itself an indication that Luke Wattenberg is probably going to be available this week. So that's good to know.
Low-key, that's a good move.
Yeah,
I mean that looks like, and while we're talking about it, we might as well just talk about J.K. Dobbins now.
Let's talk about injuries in general, because we should talk about J.K. Dobbins first and then talk about the wide receivers. But go.
Bad news, Nick. Bad news, Nick.
There doesn't seem like anybody believes that J.K. Dobbins is going to play against the Patriots. They got on with Kliss, and Kliss was talking about it. He said it's doubtful. Okay. The type of injury that he had, we probably don't remember this, but a couple years ago, I believe it was Orlando Franklin who had the injury, and he had it early in the season. He never came back for the rest of the season. So it would be insane for J.K. Dobbins to come back from the same injury in a shorter period of time.
Even for the Super Bowl, it would be insane for him to come back. And so, no, yeah, probably not looking at him for the AFC Championship game. Also, probably not looking at Pat Bryant or Troy Franklin. With Bryant, a second concussion in a month, basically. And then I think was it a hamstring issue?
Yeah,
for Franklin. Yeah, that's not going to go away in a week. The good news is, at least with the Brandon Johnson signing, you have veterans now that you can bring up. You have Elijah Moore, you have Brandon Johnson. These are not guys who you probably wanted to press into action. Michael Bandy as well, a guy who's been on your practice squad and knows your system and will certainly probably get the most playing time of any of those guys. Sorry, Elijah Moore stands. You're going to see more Michael Bandy than you want to this weekend. It's just the way it is. But I think you also saw that this Broncos offense can be at least functional running through a trio of Sutton, Humphrey, and Mims. And Mims, freaking Mims. I don't know what it is with Sean Payton. I'll say this. Yeah, no, and I'll set you up for it, Spotty. I'm going to throw it over to you because you have. But I don't know what it is with Sean Payton and Marvin Mims that he won't play him more often in the regular season. Because every time he's out there, it seems like he shows out on a highlight reel.
8 for 93, guys. He had 8 catches for 93 yards. And I am telling you, some of the biggest catches of the day. I love Courtland Sutton. But damn it to hell, he dropped some major passes. There are some times that when I was like, they went to him twice, and if he could have made either of those catches, that could have probably been the end of the game. We would have ended the game in the fourth quarter, right? And he does that sometimes. He falls away. But then Marvin Mims, I don't know what it is. Why is he not more involved? You draft a guy in the second round for him to become nothing. Even when Troy Franklin was suffering during this year, I thought at least at that point, put Marvin Mims to add some spice. At this point, I don't see any reason that Marvin Mims should not be in the starting offense at all times.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that Troy Franklin, and I love Troy Franklin, and I love Lil Jordan Humphrey was getting more, and I guess maybe it's the blocking aspect of his game, and maybe Mims. I don't know what he's saying. I don't know if he's punishing him for showing up late to a meeting. I don't know, but you're right, man. I don't understand. We've been asking for Marvin Mims numbers all season. We've been asking him to jump in this.
I love it, Kev.
Oh, yeah.
Let me, Kevin, I want to toss this one over to you. We're back talking about wide receivers. Guys, it's time to let the A.T. Perry dream die. I'm sorry. And maybe I'm being harsh on this, Kev. You tell me, but the only things you know about A.T. Perry is that he is 6'4" and that he runs fast. That's all you know about A.T. Perry.
Yeah.
The coaching staff who sees A.T. Perry out there with the scout team every week sees him, and there's a reason they have signed 2 receivers to the practice squad while they've had him on it instead of elevating him. Let it go.
But it's about blocking.
Did I even know he was 6'4"? I knew he was 6 foot something. I couldn't even told you that. So I mean, yeah, you gotta trust what these guys are seeing behind closed doors, or in the practices and everything we don't have access to, right? So I'm out to just trust this coaching staff, because they've they've opened up their mouth to get proven wrong. And they just don't get proven. They just keep getting proven that they were right over and 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 over again. So at what point are we going to sit back and be like, you know what? You guys got this. I'm gonna believe in you, and it's time.
So here's what I'm looking for, and I am going to ruin the pregame podcast because I wanted to go on a rant about this on the pregame podcast. Spoiler alert. I think that this game for Jarrett Stidham is going to be what I've been asking for all season, which is a Marvin Mims, Evan Ingram tandem. Let's go down there, get the ball in their hands, and let them score some touchdowns. I think that's what this game turns into with the injuries that we have and everything else. The other option we have is Caleb Lohner. He was designated to come up, and then he was in-game and active for the game. If we go 3 tight end sets, that allows Evan Ingram to kind of go out in the slot, which he's capable of doing. He did it for the whole time he was with the Giants. So there's no reason why we can't do that, and that's just another wide receiver option. I think before we even look at A.T. Perry.
Yep. They might give me a call and ask if I'm available before they bring up A.T. Perry. I'm just saying.
Kevin, they have a height limit. They have one of those things like on a stick that says you must be this tall to ride this ride. And
how do we know where you're going?
It's a 6 foot comment. That's what it was.
You know what hasn't really been talked about in this particular game? The injuries to the wide receivers.
Yeah.
Because you understand that there are times that I believe it was Prentice. Prentice was out wide in wide receiver sets. I'm telling you, there was really only 2 people we could have thrown the damn ball to anyways. It was Marvin and Little Jordan Humphrey. And look, Jordan Humphrey, I want to give Little Jordan Humphrey his kudos, okay, because I'm going to tell you what. He could have pulled his own damn dreads out after that drop in that ball in the end zone, and he played a hell of a game the rest of the way. So Little Jordan Humphrey, 100%. Broncos lose the game without your performance in that game. Yeah. I mean, when you're running fullbacks and tight ends on 3 wide receiver sets, you probably should lose the game. Like that. That's not something that's a winning formula.
Yeah, and going, David, to your point too, we're talking about like the brilliance that is Sean Payton. Like the soft hands of Frank Crumb, man. Like
eligible to receive, baby.
The shit hit his hands, and he turned, and then he saw that DB, and he lowered his shoulder.
Yep.
The DB was not wanting
2
any
hands
of
on
that.
the ball. He lowered his shoulder with 2 hands on the ball. He was going across that goal line, and he was scoring.
He was stopping him. Brick wall wasn't going to stop him.
And the whole team going to celebrate afterwards just shows. And I think they interviewed him afterwards. Like, how'd that feel? He was like, it just felt like the whole team, like, this is nothing new to us. This isn't like, an offensive line scores. Normally the offensive line stoked. Like, the whole team was stoked because, like, we're a team. And even though he got a lot of starts during the injury to 𝐓𝐈𝐿'𝐵𝐄, but he ends up coming in there, and he's mostly a heavy set guy. He's only in the game in those heavy set situations, and for him to get a touchdown and just absolutely just great catch, great turn, and just got upfield and got in the end zone. What a great touchdown.
Guys, I want to refocus the conversation a little bit on the New England Patriots because there's a point that I want to make. We talked about it. We previewed it a little bit earlier when we were talking about Nick Bonito. Do you guys know who led the NFL in fumbles this year?
Drake Maye.
Did we say Drake Maye enough times for you, NFL fans, analysts? Did we say it? Should we say it more? Anyway, yes, Drake Maye.
Part of the algorithm.
That's right. Got to get SEO. Drake Maye fumbled 14 times this season, including in the divisional round, and we've got also a little bit of a note here on the old X that Will Campbell, Patriots left tackle Will Campbell, has allowed a 10% pressure rate since returning from injury earlier this year, i.e. a turnstile. And I would really like to see Nick Bonito taking on Will Campbell one-on-one and hitting Drake baby hands May, Drake Maye, hands baby May, Drake. And let's see what we get, friends. Let's see what we get.
Look, it's not just the Patriots hater in me, but obviously a lot of my opinions about them, that's a big part of it. I'm not overly impressed from what I've seen in their Chargers game or their Texans game.
Yeah.
They are the number 2 offense in all of the NFL. Then they're not as efficient at running the game as much as everybody wants to talk about, because that's what they really want to do. They're not that great at running the football, considering that they got the running back that all of us wanted. And I'm not their tools aren't that. I mean, Stephon Diggs is like, okay, Hunter Henry, all right. Keyshawn Booty, I just like saying Booty, like that's the only reason that we're going to even bring him up. Okay, like I'm just not overly impressed with that. So like, okay, Drake, you threw all these touchdowns. I think if more than anything, it's the fact that he has the ability to extend the plays, since we're already ruining the pregame. Okay, so it's his ability we have the type of defense to kibosh that, or at least make it hard for them for most of the game while our offense figures it out.
It's going to be a tough game, but we match up so well.
We do. Like their strength on our strength. Their strength is passing the ball, and our strength is pass defense. Like we have some of the best corners in the league, and then obviously with McMillan playing the way he's been playing, and then PJ Locke playing the way he did last week and kind of stepping up into that role. I really do think this is a great matchup for the Denver Broncos. Obviously, the question of it all is going to be, is Stidham going to be able to come out there? And we mentioned it earlier, and you guys had some really good points. Like, he's been with us for 3 years. It's not like he's going to go out there. Yes, he's never played a game for the Broncos in the regular season. But he knows the Sean Payton offense. He's been there. He's been in the film rooms. He knows what he's talking about. Bo Nix is going to be right there by his side on the sideline the whole time. And so I think this is a really good matchup that I think a lot of people are underestimating. So, yeah, I mean, even the point spread in general, I think is a really good hit if you really want to look at it.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. I think just all Broncos country, we need to get past the heartbreak of not having Bo Nix out there. Recognize, it's sad, but he'll be back. He'll be back, and if anything, he'll be hungrier to get back to this position to be on the field with his team. But for now, it's Stiddy time, and the team's rallying behind him, and I think all Broncos country needs to as well. And for all the fans that are going to be out there at the game this Sunday, I won't be, unfortunately, but I know as crazy as it was this last weekend, this next game, it's going to be just as wild, if not more wild and loud and crazy and fanatic and energized in those stands. So get ready for it, because this game's in Denver with the altitude, the fans, everything. There are some things on our side that if we take advantage of it, we could be back here next week. Very happy.
Yeah.
So I just want to bring this up, and it might be a sour point, but the last time that New England was in Denver for the AFC Championship game and the Rams were in Seattle for the NFC Championship game was 2014, which is the year we got absolutely demolished in the Super Bowl. But we beat the Patriots, and I believe it was on the CJ Anderson run, but absolutely beat the Patriots that game, going into the Super Bowl to go play in the Super Bowl. So a lot of things can happen. It's Stiddy time. David is a proud citizen of Stiddy City, which I absolutely love that you changed that, because I'm stealing that and using it from now on. So that was my thing.
It's a Twitter movement right now, Jerry.
It's a Twitter movement?
It is, very much so.
Stiddy City. Let's go. All right, guys, let's go around the horn a little bit and talk about our final thoughts as we get ready to wrap up the show. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure you guys are going to broncosandbourbon.com, signing up for all that great content Adam and the team are putting out, and then making sure you hit that subscribe button to get notifications when we go live, because, man, it is a great time to be a Broncos fan in Broncos country. All right, let's go around the room. Let's start, Spotty. Let's start with you.
So final thoughts going in about this game, and touching a little bit more about Bo's injury. So I'm a little annoyed with the narrative out there right now. And the fact is, everybody's talking about Bo's injury, and what they're not talking about is Bo Nix out-dueled Josh Allen. Bo Nix hit the plays. He steps up whenever he ever needs to steps up, okay? Everybody was talking about, if you have the ball in fourth quarter and overtime, who would you rather have the ball in their hands? And everybody said Josh Allen. And I'm going to tell you what, only one of those quarterbacks won the game in the fourth quarter and in overtime. He went down when we had 4 minutes and 17 seconds on the field, or on the clock. They're down 4, and all he did was drop a dot to Marvin Mims to thrust us at that time into potentially winning the game. A little like too much time on the clock, which led to them coming back. But then again, all he did was come back into overtime and do the plays that he needed to do, even on a broken ankle. So I'm upset. I'm looking forward to watch Stiddy play. But then that's going to change the narrative, because if Stiddy takes the Broncos to the Super Bowl and potentially wins the Super Bowl, then the conversation has already been had. I've already seen it a couple of times that the Broncos have a quarterback situation. And I, again, stress the fact that Bo Nix outplayed how everybody thought he was going to. Maybe the only people who thought he was going to play this well were the people in the Broncos facilities, okay? But even Skip Bayless had to swallow his opinions after Bo played this well. But again, what's going to happen is if Stiddy continues to play well, they're going to say, well, it's all because of Sean Payton and it's not because of Bo Nix. And I think that stinks. I believe that it's just another reason for other people to take away from it. I'm going to be happy as anybody else, right, that we're going to win for a Super Bowl. But I believe that man should get more credit than he's been getting so far.
Man, Spotty, my final point is totally different than yours, but I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said it because it also demonstrates to Broncos country that you have a quarterback who will grit it out in the playoffs. And we have seen so many wonderkind quarterbacks. Look at Justin Herbert. And, Justin Herbert has all the arm talent in the world. And I see why analysts are crazy about Justin Herbert. But look at what he does every season in the playoffs. And you already now have evidence that Bo Nix in his second season is going to be a guy who will take you the final distance. That last inch that you need in the playoffs, you'll get it from Bo Nix. The question's answered. And that is such a cool place for us to be in right now. My final point, and I am really, really glad that we are on final points because I really don't have anything else noteworthy to say, is that it is I can't ignore the parallels to 2015 anymore, you guys. I tried all season because the defense isn't as good as it was in 2015, and the offense is better than it was in 2015. And so I said to myself, I don't want to get into that conversation. This team is not Super Bowl good. This team is playoff good. And I thought it all season long, and I kept thinking it as we just kept piling up wins and piling up wins and piling up wins. And suddenly we were 14-3, and we were the number one seed in the NFL. And I still tried to ignore it, guys. I still tried to ignore it because I said we have a second-year quarterback. We don't know what the team is going to be like coming out of a bye week in the playoffs. We don't have a ton. We have a few players that have playoff experience, but we don't have a ton of players that have had deep playoff runs. We only have a coach who has that kind of experience right now. And then they won in the divisional round. And now you are in a place where you are going into the AFC Championship game against the Patriots in your own home with a team that has had their defense talked about all season and now is going in with questionable quarterback play. And the parallels are, and the Super Bowl's played where again this year? And so whether or not the Broncos win the Super Bowl is a question that we will talk about if they get there. But right now I am embracing the magic 100% because why the hell not? Why the hell not? Just go with it. You're playing with house money now. You're in the AFC Championship game. Anything goes.
Yeah. You want another parallel there, David? The 2015 year, the one game I went to was an overtime win against the Bengals. And here we are again. I was at the overtime wins. I'm just saying, another parallel if you want to just tack that on. But look, guys, for me, kind of what David was saying, what I was going to go with, live in the moment. I know there's lots of talk about, oh man, just wait till we lose this dead cap space hit on us, and players are going to want to come to Denver, and this is a destination town, and wait till the draft and free agency and all this other stuff, right? Live in the moment. Like, we're going to get here again. This isn't a one-off situation. This is the beginning of something special. And so just be happy of where we are, compared to where we've been not too long ago, winning 25 games in 2 seasons. Guys, there are teams like the Jets that don't win 25 games in like 4 or 5 years. Okay. We were kind of one of those teams not too long ago ourselves. So this is something really special. And if you stuck with the team through the lows, it makes it all that much better right now. So get ready for it. Enjoy the game. Get amped. Get ready. There's some sort of block party for the Broncos in Latimer Square, downtown Denver on Saturday from 1 to 5. So if you're free and if you're able to get down there, go out there and get amped with all other Broncos fans that are going to be showing up and showing out. So enjoy it, guys. I think we might be in for a very special surprise here come Sunday. Don't count us out. And if the Patriots think that they're just going to steamroll right through Denver on their way to Super Bowl 60, I think they got another thing coming their way. So get ready for it. And here we go, guys. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these are big times, man. Like we talked about what it means to get the number 1 seed. It means that the New England Patriots have to come to Denver.
That's it.
And I think that's another aspect that people like, all because we don't have our number 1 quarterback, like, doesn't mean that they haven't had a chance to play somewhere like Denver on an away game, on a very crucial game. And Drake Maye, like in his first playoff run, right? And their coach, I believe this is his first playoff run, right? There's a lot of things here. No. Who's their
Tennessee? It's Vrabel.
Oh, it's Vrabel. Okay, so he does have a little bit of playoff experience, but like you got Sean Payton versus Vrabel, and a little plug for the podcast. We'll talk pretty heavily about that matchup in the podcast, but they're coming to Denver. And this number 1 seed, all the things that we did through the season, all the highs and lows that we went through the season, it comes down to this. Do it for Bo, man. And I know that's a big rally cry right now. There's a lot of people like, let's do it for Bo. Bo's going to be there cheering him the whole time. This is a 53-man squad. This isn't a one-man squad. It was the same thing against the Bills. We talked about it when we go into the Bills. One man, they might have the best player on the field, but we have the rest of the 52. This is a 53-man game. And I think that we have a 53-man that believe in each other, that believe in this game, that believe that we can do it. All that Sean Payton said at the beginning. And I think that we have the chance to win this game and go on to the Super Bowl with Stidham as our quarterback. It's going to be a fantastic game, guys. Enjoy it where we are. I went through the highs and lows. I talked about at the beginning, and I'm going to wrap this up at the end, right? Little bookends here. We went through a roller coaster of emotion the last 4 days. And it got me about halfway through Sunday before I realized I was real sad Sunday morning. Man, I was real sad. Like, oh, man, what are we going to do? This is terrible. And then I realized we're in the AFC Championship game. Why am I sad? We won that game. We're here. We're here now. Let's enjoy it. Let's watch this game. Let's watch us surprise all the haters and then make some people money because they're going to put money on the Broncos with the numbers just going up and up and up and finish this game out. Let's go to the Super Bowl and make this a year to remember.
Everybody talks about that second win against the Raiders because that's when we were starting to think about number 1 seed, right?
Yeah.
A 10-7 win against the Raiders on Thursday Night Football allows the Denver Broncos to play this game in Denver as opposed to New England. Huge. Absolutely huge.
Absolutely fantastic. It's a great time to be a Broncos fan. It's a great time to be part of Broncos Country. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Bourbon, Broncos, and No BS. We will be here 1 hour before the game. Make sure you guys are going to the podcast, listening to us on your way to or from work this week as we get ready for the AFC Championship game. All right, with nothing else to say, we'll end this, as we always do, with the strongest AFC Championship style. Go Broncos!
Right, and I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. 'Cause I know I'm the show in the